You're good to go, Rick. You're good.
Hey. 4:05, we have a quorum, we'll call the meeting in order.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. We approved the minutes of the previous meeting. Discussion, corrections? Blank anything, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Bills. Communication.
For the month of February, we have a NICEAG payment of $284.33 that was paid online. We have a CNS Companies payment for $748.80. This is for January 8th through February 4th. And then we have pilot disbursements. We have 3 that paid. We're going to County, Tom, Aurelius, and Bruce. It looks like Grover, Johnston, Paper, and Page Trucking have paid. And Hewitt County will receive $83,480.07. Town of Aurelius will receive $9,974.09. Town of Bruce will receive $2,758.48. And that's all our bills.
Motion to pay the bills.
There's a second?
I have a question, but I'll second it and then we'll get into the questions.
Okay.
Uh,
Motion made and seconded. Comments?
we have another bill from CNS Companies, which is the engineering firm. And we hired them for $40,400, I think, to oversee putting in the new sewer main. And I don't know where in the world that is, but we've already paid them about half of their $40,000. Are they going to continue overseeing putting in that sewer main for the price they quoted us?
Mark's on the screen.
Yes, can you everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, to answer your question, yes, we'll, obviously continue proceeding through. Some of the, we have and are seeing some additional services that were not part of that original scope of work, where we're getting into modifying the Probst engineering report, and also to getting in, we will be starting the environmental assessment report as well too, and reviewing revising that as well too for the as part of the application for the EDA.
Why would the engineering firm that prepared that first engineering report not modify that themselves instead of us paying somebody to modify it?
I don't have an answer for you. Maybe Mark may have one.
Well, that was a request that was made by you guys. Could you have gone back to Probst for that? I'm sorry. Could you have gone back to Probst on that? Possibly, yes, but it sounded like there was something there where you didn't want to go back to them for that. I'm not sure what that was.
So I'm happy with the work you've done so far, but you've added work to what you thought you were going to have to do, and so the bill is going to be more than the $40,000.
I'm not sure if it's going to be more yet. I think once the construction starts, as far as how fast that goes through, it potentially could be less, but yeah, to answer your question, there has been some additional scope added to this, so it could possibly be more than the 40,000. Yes, it could be.
And is it not the right place to find out where we are with that sewer line before we agree to pay somebody more money for making out the application?
What we
That
can
was
do
supposed
is
to have been done 6 months ago.
we can hold the bill and pass the others, and then we can have the sewer line discussion.
I think we owe him that money for the work that he's done. I would approve paying all of them, but I want to get down to what my question is before we get through.
Yeah, we want to wait to the sewer discussion.
No, I don't mind paying that at this time.
Okay. Okay, back to the bills. Any more questions to the bills, including CNS? All in favor?
I-
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, carried. Jury, let's jump down to jury right now from the town of Aurelia. Then we'll get on to TMI and sewer.
I'm Jerry Scouten, Chairman of the Planning Board for the town of Aurelia. And currently we have a project going on in the town for a large solar development, which will go on property within the town, basically east of the milk plant and whatnot. It's the old grape farm, if you're familiar with that. And as part of the development, they're going to need access to the back portion of the property. We're going to bring them in on Carpenter Drive, which is a town road, but they're going to have to cross that dirt road pathway back there. And we'd like to get something in agreement with the CCIDA to have them do that, be able to do it. The developer is Norbert Solar Development. They're out of Rochester, New York. And
I talk too much, but I think we're too early to give you permission. Has your planning board approved that project?
we're in the process of doing it right now.
But it's not been approved.
It's at the county for the 239 review, and part of their review, they're asking us for the access to the property, how it's going to be accessed.
And has the town, probably I'm getting ahead of myself, has the town approved this project?
We're in the process of approving it. Right now, barring any major thing going wrong, it will be approved.
Oh,
Mr. Chairman, I spoke to Chairman, and I advised the board by email of our conversation, gave some drawings as well. This property does abut Genesee Street.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes,
So the property is not landlocked, but it does abut Genesee Street. But apparently the town and or the developer are asking or will be asking for an easement to go over our property to access at a different location near the Home Depot.
we've had to deal with several of these solar projects, and I have a real major concern that the developer that comes in and gets all of this early work done never ends up being the people who are going to run the solar thing. And I made a motion, I think it passed, that we no longer approve any of these projects unless we know who the operator is going to be. We're not going to approve them with just the developers' participation in it.
Norbert is the owner. They're buying the property.
Are they going to operate the solar
Yes,
thing?
yes.
Okay. You call them a developer, which is.
Well, because that's how they refer to
yeah,
themselves, but
yes.
there are other solar developments out there. They're buying this property. They're going to own it. We have two other projects that are getting ready to come up before the board that are both on rented property or leased property.
Uh-huh.
So this one is owned by Norbert. And to speak to your concern about the landlocked parcel, that's residential property across the front that we can't cut through that to get to the back.
Well, that's the town choice to do that. That's what.
Yes.
Okay. But it's one parcel that I saw, unless I was mistaken. I don't know.
It's one parcel now. As soon as the 239 committee gets done with it, it's going to be 5 parcels.
Oh,
And the portion across the front and down the east side, which is a brownfield down there, will be one piece of property. The other 4 will be within the back portion of it, which is where the actual solar panels will be located.
But it's your choice to landmark it. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it doesn't make any sense to ruin the residential strip across the front to put a road in there, to take trucks into the back portion of the property.
Yeah, there's not gonna be that much traffic once
No.
it's stolen, right?
No,
Once it's built,
Once
once it's built, there won't be any traffic back there.
minimal.
Well, right.
Well, you probably don't know, will they be coming to the IDA for any inducements?
Yes. I'm surprised that you don't have the paperwork yet.
They've called me,
Right.
but they have not started they haven't asked for the application or any paperwork.
Okay.
I think this request, would rise to the level of, that maybe at the end of our meeting, we can go in executive session because it would come under purchase or sale of real property. There's no formal proposal yet of where they're at, the size of the proposed easement, the actual exact location of the easement. But that would be my recommendation that you ask any questions to the town chair of the planning board now and get any more information you want, and then maybe at the end of our meeting, kind of start discussions in executive session.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind seeing the larger map.
I do have that right here.
Here's a little. autograph.
We're gonna blow it up. Paul didn't have a problem.
All you young kids.
Paul and Herb didn't have any problems opening it up.
What's the best way to?
You young kids.
I was kind of curious myself, which is urban activity and earn. How many megawatts is this gonna be, Jerry?
20.
20 megs?
This is West Genesee Street out here,
Right.
and this, basically, it's gonna be one parcel, second parcel, third parcel, fourth parcel. The fifth parcel will be everything here. Now, they're staying 400 feet, 450 feet back from West Genesee Street Road, which we're very happy with that, because we don't want to see those panels. They're not developing over here because of the brown.
Has our attorney assumed that they actually own that at this time?
Where do they?
They don't own it.
Where are they tapping into?
Why don't we have this,
Where's our
like,
line?
we normally have it on the board?
This one?
Yeah,
Is this the line that we built?
That's not your.
I say? Are they tapping into this line?
they're tapping in more up to the substation is the way that they've gotten nicely along with it. And however they're doing it, they already have nice approval in their gate there. Well, this is the town road right here. This is Carpenter Drive, which runs right along the side. This is Home Depot right here. It's the dirt road up here. They're going to need to go basically across and to this area right here. This is gonna be their entrance. and
I have to change that.
a small inch
So
of
it's just
development.
really
Yeah.
50 feet or something.
Well, I'm not gonna lock in on it to a specific dimension because these parcels may.
No, I mean, it's pretty.
It's pretty, yeah, there's not very much.
Don't worry about the sewer.
Thanks, that was a lot.
Know your lane, okay,
That was a
Counselor?
lot
Know your lane.
better.
Oh.
Take care of
I can't do it without you. You might move over here.
Right here, so this is parcel 4.
Yeah, the pool is up, right way up here. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
And we need to map stuff on that.
Yeah, I think we could
The
do it at the end of the
land
meeting.
is all tied up right now.
I'm talking to them right
because
now
it's
about
in-
getting that set
It's
up.
all on contingency of getting things done.
Okay, what's next? What are we doing?
Okay, what do you want to do?
I thought Rick recommended that we put this off till the end of the meeting and then we'll discuss it again.
Jerry don't need to stay for that, because it'd be executive session.
Jerry might want a preview of what we got going on. He's gonna see it anyway.
Put it on the table.
I'm not at this point at all against it, but I think it's too early. They've not bought the property yet. The town hasn't approved it. They're asking us to commit to letting somebody we've never heard of or seen use our property to exit and enter it. I think this is just too early to,
The only thing I'm gonna put on the table right now is that with these solar developments, the state of New York will step in and take this project away from us if we put up too much of a fight. And if they take it away from us, then they'll violate their own process to make it correct. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, we've seen that at the town level. You really don't have much.
The only way we're getting away with this right now is this is only a 20 megawatt power station. But they're at the threshold that they could ask the state to take it over.
I've been on the receiving end of it with a high powered rifle range in my backyard.
but we do, I think we have more control than we might, because they told us none of these are practical unless they get a tax break from us. And if we deny,
Unless the state takes it over.
but even if the state takes it over, they still have to have the tax break. I think we're going to get right into that with the one in Conquest pretty fairly soon. And Sunday's paper was 20 transfers from the water.
Yeah, I see that.
Which means that is really under motion. It's way further along to this one, and that's already a state.
So they must have bought the land up there too?
I haven't, all I see was a transfer. I could call and find out, but that's probably beyond my business to do that.
Okay. So, Rick,
Yes,
you recommend an executive session?
I do at the end of the meeting, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. I guess before we move along, we better introduce guests. Sorry, I guess I should have. If you want to introduce yourself.
Bob Shea, County Legislature, representing District 7, Ledyard, Scipio, and Springport.
Are you, I talk off, are you going to be the new appointee on this board? or-
Yes,
Are you really? Well, first, welcome.
next month. Thank you.
Next, yeah, he's not appointed yet, but he's sitting here because he's going to be. Good.
But you can vote.
Do anything.
Any
you want
other-
to do.
Also, I wanted to introduce our new small business development specialist, Julia Foster. She started last Monday. She has a strong agriculture background. She was the former executive director for the USDA in Wayne County. So she started last Monday, and she's just kind of getting acclimated to the CCIDA. She'll get to know, well, not all the board meetings, but just this one.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Treasurer's report, and then we'll get into some fun business.
Okay, for the month of January, we had interest savings and CD for $65.71. We had the Q4 payment to CCIDA, so administrative services for $5,000. The fee share was $11,636.40. You paid your arrears taxes, in amount of $2,742.98. Postage for the month was $25.73. We had payments for the construction for the sewer line for $2,583.30. And then we had the electric bill for $203.65. Which brought the net income to negative $22,126.32. And at the bottom, there's the breakdown of the account for the month.
A motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So move.
I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Okay, you want to do an update on the sewer line or CMI? Sewer line. Mark still on?
He's still
I'm here.
So last week, Mark, David Botar, myself, and then Brian Breyer from CNS Companies met last week to check in on the EDA application. At this time, CNS Companies have already updated the engineering report. They're in the process of the environmental report. It's currently updated. The original environmental report that was submitted with the application included phase 1 work. And also the numbers that were included in there don't align with the current EDA application in terms of the length of the force main pipe that will be going in there. So CNS Companies is reviewing the environmental report and giving the appropriate updates. And they're also looking at all the supplemental documentation that goes with it to see if that needs to be updated as well. They're looking to submit that to David Botar as soon as possible before the end of the month. David provided another update. EDA has not processed any applications that have been submitted to them over the last 6 months. He expects the review to happen by April 1st. At this time, the CCIDA should know if the application will be selected for final review by the committee. They'll come back to us with additional questions. And then according to David's timeline, we should have a final determination by June. This is going to impact the overall timeline where the executed contract will not happen until September at this point, which will push back the project deadline till spring of 2023. During that meeting, we discussed bidding, and David Botar said most likely EDA is going to come back with a recommendation on rebidding the project as those bids will be updated. Mark, am I missing anything from that meeting?
No, Danny, I think you summed it up very well.
Is there anything we can do to move this faster?
Well, the one thing is you can technically start incurring expenses, but you're gonna minimize the risk if you wait until April to get the first round of feedback. We'll know by then if a bidding is gonna be, a rebid is gonna be required. And then by June, we can start the process if needed. But essentially, how the application is written, you can start incurring our costs to be reimbursed. But just from a risk standpoint, it's not really recommended to do that until we have a better idea if we're gonna be awarded or not. But there's nothing we can do on the EDA side of things. They have not, like David said, they have not reviewed any applications that have been submitted to them in the last 6 months.
Any reason that that happens? Just government?
Government.
Wow. Well, we're a year submitting our application for the, a year late submitting our application for the funding, and it probably hasn't helped any. We've screwed around here for month after month after month, and all we find out is that it's still not, the application is still not successfully put in yet. The guy who was supposed to put it in, it was supposed to have been completed before December, and he went on 4 weeks vacation and didn't tell us how many deficiencies there were in it. Is that gonna hurt your timetable for your?
Just add a level of risk. I'm trying to determine, like, I'm thinking through it right now, what's the risk factor that we don't get it done? It's a huge risk factor.
I'm just speaking for me. The risk factor, I think we can overcome, because I think we agreed, and I think you agreed, we needed that sewer line, whether we get this funding or not. There's other sources of less funding, but this funding was for the biggest part of the whole project. But as far as I'm concerned, we need to put that sewer line in for you, and we need to assure you that it's going to be put in. If they keep screwing around with this funding like they have for the last year, we need to go another route. And
Well, that's why it was put off, because we were going for the bigger kind of goal.
yeah,
I'm trying to remember, can somebody remind me, like, how big is this grant program?
my understanding is somewhere close to 90% of the cost of this, which is a huge thing. But we were talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 40% with the other sources of funding. And that would have left a considerably larger amount back to the users of it. And
I think it was 80, I think it was 40 and 80.
Yeah,
This isn't close to 90?
Danielle,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The funding, I think the lower rate was 40%, and then this was 80%.
It was a 50-50 match originally, and then when EDA got awarded the additional funding, it went to an 80-20 split, so it's a higher grant amount, but it increases the CCIDA contribution because the total budget has increased itself from what was originally budgeted when Tracy was still here.
What are the, and it'd be nice if we had a timeline, what are the long lead time items? Because I thought the pump took a substantial amount of time to procure.
Yes, as far as the lead times for the items that remain, the pumps would realistically be the longest lead time, yes, but we're out on some projects right now, 4 months before you'll see a pump delivered.
And that's what I wonder, if we should get a lead time from, when we think we can start construction and go back. And then, if we're gonna risk the project start date because we haven't procured the pump. And I don't know what pipe is out now, I think it was like 12, 13 weeks.
well, I'm telling you, we just don't go down to the store and get stuff anymore.
No,
I'm having a good time getting stuff for the farm,
yeah,
simple stuff.
I think he needs to tell us his time frame that we have to go by. And if we have to start ordering pumps and pipe now, we need to do it.
Well, I never give out free money, so you don't want to be crazy about it. So yeah, we can get into that whenever you want. We can talk about our project.
And remember, you've got the force main pipe is there. You have that already. So the pumps would be the thing that you could order and get those things moving if you guys were interested in doing that.
How expensive are the pumps?
they were like 10,000.
Yeah, I think with the rail, or I'm sorry, with the I'm gonna guess they're gonna be a little bit more than that. I can't remember off the top of my head now, but I'm the $30,000 numbers in the ballpark range with all the accessories.
Yeah.
And say just our pumps are 25,000.
Yeah.
Just to move it.
I think by next month, if we're not any further along than we are, we ought to order the pumps.
I agree.
I
agree.
If you don't mind, let's put it off till next month. And then if we're still in the same shape you're in now, not knowing anything, we might as well order them pumps. And if we have to put the sewer in,
We'll do what we gotta do.
we gotta do what we have to do.
Yep.
You do with that timeline that Danny was describing. Even if you say pull the trigger in, April timeframe, got the order in, by the time you get the bids, if this thing has to go back out to bid, if you get the bids back, the notice to proceed, from bid time to notice proceeds, at least gonna be a month. You might be okay to hold off till, say April timeframe when you get more of a commitment from the EDA as well too. You could pull the trigger in April and have them say by the time the contractor has the wet well set and all that, it could be delivered and ready to go. So you do have a little bit of time on that if you want to wait a little bit.
You don't think there's a danger of waiting, of the pumps being postponed, us getting them? Right now is probably, there's not an awful lot going on. If we wait till April, that's going to be right in the busy season.
Well, I can check with the pump manufacturer just to verify to make sure that I'm not speaking at a line here, but I'll check with him and make sure, what the from order time to delivery time will be. I can get back to all you guys if that works.
You could have that by our next meeting, so.
Most definitely.
Okay, very, very good. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and the cost is a total percent of the project, the cost's minimal.
You're right.
So even if we order it in March, we're not taking a hell of a lot of risk.
It's just, I'm more worried about delivery. we looked at the mixer wagon and they said it'd be 10 months.
But it's that way with everything. He told us at our last meeting how long it took to get the trucks that he.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting, actually.
And you're still waiting.
Still waiting on half of them.
Look, if you could give us those numbers by our next meeting, then we can decide whether to order them or not.
A year ago, February.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you could identify any other long lead time items, that would be appreciated.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, it'll be the pumps and the control panel for the pumps. So
Yeah.
and that's kind of a together item.
Yeah.
But if we have that and we have the pipe already, we're
Pretty good.
we're in reasonably good shape to do it.
Agree.
I keep saying, digging the thing is the simplest thing we can do.
Yeah,
So the only other thing I want to add as an update from this, the updating of the engineering report and environmental report were not in the current contract for CNS companies. So Mark and I, when we had talked last week, I had asked them, like, what is this additional cost? Because we were not expecting to have to update the documents, but it's a requirement for EDA. So I just kind of responds to Herb's question about some of these additional costs that have incurred as we go forward.
Right. And I got to hear back from Brian. I had mentioned that to him today that we got to get you a number for updating the EA piece of it. I don't think it's going to be a large number from what he was saying. It sounds like a lot of the documentation was there. It just needs to be updated. But I'll get back to you on that, Danny.
Thank you.
That's the trouble when you chase grant money.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that sewer line project? Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, guys. I'll get back to you here on the information you requested.
Okay.
Thank you.
Us, okay, so I've only got one map, I'm sort of like Jerry, I brought one map to kind of give everybody a visual, so let me just pass this around. So what I'm gonna show you is yellow is what's existing today. All the rest is, and the orange is what I'm gonna hand out right now.
Kevin, can I stop you for a second?
Sure.
Can we give Kevin Buckland, like host access, if there's something he can share on the screen up there as well?
Yeah, KB, you want to share the master plan?
Yes, we'll do.
Helpful.
Just give me a minute to pull it up.
I'll just, this is a description of what we got going on.
Thank you.
It's not a detailed description, but it's mostly what you guys are interested in.
thank you. That's a lot of zeros.
Yeah, they're just zeros. After a while, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you never really see the money.
Yeah, I was kind of telling somebody the other day, because my previous job was a banker. And when I left banking, my entire portfolio was 67 million. Our loan is that big, you know, so I'm still a manager of a portfolio. It just happens to be with a note plan.
So are we counting on that sewer line? The answer is yes.
We definitely need a sewer line. So let me just walk you through kind of where we're at while Kevin's bringing up the map that we can pass around. But when I came on to the call last time, if you remember, I was kind of feeling out the board to say, hey, can we get all of the funds, basically? And the reason I wasn't really prepared for that because we were in the middle of a capital raise. We did a private placement memorandum and we put out a capital raise placement. In the last meeting, it wasn't done yet. So the owners have supported us. Why we're here today, we have it's not a PE stamp design by any means. That's just a futuristic look at what we think we can become. And we're well on our way. But the next phase in that orange box is high-speed bottling line. These things are very expensive. As you can see, it's $143 million expansion. What that includes
Six
also
packaging
is
lines.
expanding onto our receiving bay, we need another receiving bay. And we need
This
to
is just
upgrade our
warehousing.
wastewater facility to be able to pre-treat the amount of volume that we're
Uses up all
anticipating
the way
before building the
The
city.
whole,
All right, so on the screen is the master plan, so
On the screen.
the yellow is existing today at CMI.
Are you able to see that, Katie? Sorry.
Yeah, can you blow it up just a little bit more, Katie?
and then that ends up using all the property, right?
Our futuristic look at it, yes, and if we think if our expectations are right, it's gonna be a lot of bottling lines.
Yeah,
The market is moving, so. And, you know, Ray can tell you this, but the market historically has been fresh milk. It's shifting quickly towards long-lasting milk, what they call ESL, which is extended shelf life. So a lot of the cardboard boxes you get in the store today are extended shelf life, it's 60-day shelf. Your fresh milk starts at 16 to 18, then it moves to 60. This is gonna be an aseptic facility that we can get up to 12 months.
no, I mean,
Ambient.
when I've traveled to Europe, right?
Yeah.
You go into the hotel and they have coffee. And then they got milk sitting out on the dresser, right?
Yeah.
You think
That's
like,
it, that's about all you can get in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
You look.
but the milk
Ultra high
sits there for 2-3 days, it just kind of freaks you out.
It does until, like, I'm watching my children now, so I have a 12, 14, 16-year-old.
Yeah.
My 12-year-old loves milk, he just consumes milk like crazy. And he's gone off fresh milk, he wants aseptic milk now, because the fresh milk is so variable. Like you'll
Oh,
get, you get a few gallons in a row that are good, and all of a sudden you get a bad one. Tastes funny, he just wants aseptic, it tastes the same every time.
yeah,
So it's shifting, and in Europe, I was in the same mentality, like, go to France.
yeah,
All the milk in France is aseptically packaged,
yeah,
and there's cows everywhere.
yeah,
And you
Yeah.
think fresh milk would be the choice, but it's aseptic, and I think you're starting to see that evolution here in the United States. There's not enough of these facilities, and they're over, so there's an under capacity for aseptic facilities, and we know this because we've been making ultra filtered milk for the beverage industry. So we're flat out on ultra filtered milk, completely sold out. And if you're familiar with Fairlife, that's the Fairlife
yeah,
products. And there's not enough bottling capacity to bottle it all. So so we had strategic planning, we're like, hey, you know what? We already make the products that go to the bottler. All we need is a bottling facility, pipe through the wall, and
you do your.
we're there.
Yeah,
Lower losses, lower transportation, can't find truck drivers anyway. So we think we have a unique sales program here. Plus,
probably a little bit.
what we have that a lot of companies don't have is we have balancing capacity. So if you look at our numbers today, with that last evaporator project, we're running, like this week, we're running the equivalent of 900 million pounds of milk a year through the facility that we have over here. This project will put us at 1.3 billion pounds of milk per year, which is, believe it or not, this puts us on scale to probably be one of the biggest milk plants in New York State. So out of a cornfield, right? So here we are, and if we this aseptic plant should be profitable enough to, I think we'll be looking to expand it before we're even done building the first one.
That's great, that's great.
So that's why we wanted to come today and really just talk about what this means for Cuyahoga County. Our estimate is another 64 jobs, but every time that we've done it, we're always conservative. We came in the first project, we said we were gonna create 56 jobs. We have 94. I think we're gonna just we're gonna try to continue to build out if we can find people to hire. It makes more sense for us and the farmers of the group to keep the milk locally, because we don't have enough truck drivers anymore. One of the things that we did last year is we bought bigger milk tanks to haul more milk with the same drivers. Now we're looking at this and saying, I think we gotta keep them all local, because we just can't find truck drivers.
Yeah,
It's getting more and more difficult. And and opportunities just keep coming. So I had a phone call today. It's not final or anything. I had a group call me and say, hey, if we invested in another dryer, would you guys be interested in running more milk from us if we invested in the dryer, because they need balancing capacity. I'm like, I'm always willing to talk, sure,
Yeah.
as you build this out, it becomes more efficient, you get scale economies that go with it. But I don't want to go diverge too much, but what's on the table right now is this orange box, high-speed filler. These fillers will go 600 bottles a minute. It's gonna have to, so in order to keep up with that filler, a human being can't keep up with it, so it's gonna be a fully automated warehouse to just keep up with the pallets that are coming off. KB, I don't know, how many pallets is this kicking off an hour? Something crazy.
Two truckloads an hour.
Yeah, human beings just can't keep up. So one of the things that we feel we've done well is we've become a balancing plant for a lot of the Northeast milk. So we've helped other co-ops. We work with Agrimark and DFA and Upstate and sometimes take in direct milk as well. The other thing that's happening right now is we have taken under milk hauling under our own management, so to speak. We own the milk tankers. Wadhams is now our on-site dispatch service, and they run the tractors and the dispatch, and they move our milk for us. We're up to 70 milk tankers now once the other ones arrive, and we're almost out of space to have milk tankers. So when we look at if you look at the second page, you look at the map, lot number 4 right north of Grover works perfect for us. Or it's on the second page here. If you look at the map, it's lot number 4. So if you come out of CMI, it goes directly across the road to the east. Oh, it's right here.
I need a lot of help.
Yeah, thank you. So lot number 4, we envision as a future truck wash depot for all the milk tankers and all the milk truck drivers. So since we took it over, we've got now 30, what do we got here, 35 drivers on site and 4 dispatchers or managers at the site. They're not our direct employees, but they're most of them are local. So and then you see how we plan to fill up all of the lots. So what we know today is that yellow or that orange and yellow box, to do the orange box, we're gonna need lots number 1, 5, and 6. But we really want to think about this strategically. We're here for the future. So kind of like to ask for all of them. 11 has an option on it. 11 doesn't really fit in this design, so we wouldn't need to worry about 11.
It's an option on 11.
It's your paperwork. It says here, it's got a star on it, and it says, I cut it earlier, lot options.
This paper
is
really
outdated.
It has Maureen's.
Yeah.
Information on it.
So there's nothing on 11.
No.
Okay,
There's no option on 11. 11 is,
it's not in this footprint.
I told you it's not dependent for the option one.
Probably put a warehouse over there or something. But you may, I don't know, if it's not in this footprint, it may be a denk of it that now is the new owner may have to expand in the future. You don't want to take that away from us. Because I'm pretty sure if they don't expand, they're not viable. So they'll probably expand in the future. I just know that I know the drying business and the size of the dryer is just not big enough.
Well, when you started this, from financial standpoint, you said just punch this rod through the hole and we can go. So didn't include a lot of money necessary. You're just gonna punch a hole through the building and start it over here. But you're way ahead of that.
Oh,
Bust your fanny a little bit.
we've done a lot of work.
Yes, you have.
And the work continues, and we don't want to do too much more work until we know we can secure the land. And you know, we are not asking the CC, it's like the first time, you remember the first time, it was almost a nightmare. I don't want to relive that. We had to do a land development agreement, we had to put in a road, we had to put in infrastructure, we had to put it in.
I remember that.
Yeah, we got held hostage by NICEAG because we needed an electric line. We need none of that this time. We're just asking.
Well, we had to get rid of the gas. well.
Yeah, we got rid of the gas well.
Yeah,
That almost
that was
sunk
a
the whole-
challenge.
Yeah, that almost sunk the whole thing. I remember that.
I do.
What do you really want today?
We want a commitment that we can move forward. Because I don't want, so if we can't get the parcel south to us, we got to really think strategically where the bottom line should go.
At our last meeting, we discussed finding more property. Has anybody looked at anything?
So letters have gone out.
Say that.
Letters have gone out to the 3 owners that we have discussed in the Aurelius area. But I have not received any responses back.
Between last meeting and now, because I don't know any better, I had a meeting with Gina Spino and asked her if she would consider helping us by, because that's kind of her business, to try to find property that we could use.
She and I had a discussion.
Did you?
She just has to be careful because she may have to step off the board if she were to be a full-blown real estate agent on our. But what I said is we could use her expertise going forward and not retain her as a real estate agent.
But I think somebody like her, we don't really have anybody in-house that knows how to buy property, except maybe me and you, and we can't do it. But I think if she's willing to do it and Rick can work out something with her, I think we should immediately have her start looking. But I would be willing to make a motion today that accepting for, is it parcel 11 that you're not sure whether you need or not?
Yeah, we could leave that one off to the side.
If we leave parcel 11 off the table for right now, I would make a motion that we not accept any offers on any of the other property, and we try to, over maybe 3 months, come up with a price that's satisfactory to us and satisfactory to him. And that price would be dependent, in my mind, on what we might be able to buy someplace else, what it might cost us to buy someplace else. But I would, that may not be to the extent that you want it, but I would be willing to make that motion today that we take the rest of the property off of the market, excepting for parcel 11. I'm just saying 11 because somebody brought it up, but we take the rest of it off the market for at least 3 months. And in the 3 months' time, we try to come up with a price that we're satisfied and he's satisfied with. And I would put an extra thing on that Ray keeps putting in. If for some reason you don't develop that in whatever number of years is fair, we would have the option of buying it back at the price that we sold it to you at.
Or, you know, I know you're concerned, or maybe attack it this way. You guys are in a job creation business.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what IDAs do, right? You're in the job, you're not in the real estate sales business, you're in the job creation. So link it to a performance metric based on hires. If we haven't hired so many people, then
We can work
you
out.
exercise an option that you buy back.
We can work out something that would safeguard our concern that the property is going to be used for what our thing. But I think that would give us a few months to see if Gina or somebody
What's your
can.
timeframe?
We're working on it now.
Okay.
There's a lot of engineering to do, and I would say, it's good that Jerry's hearing this, I'd say shovel on the ground, our hope would be as soon as June.
Of this year?
Yeah, we're trying to issue POs on equipment to avoid cost escalation that is real.
The same thing we're trying to do for
Exactly,
that
with the
darn sewer
To
line.
hear that they're gonna rebid that, it's a nightmare.
Yes, yeah.
The rebid is gonna be higher, I can tell you that right now.
If we set it aside for you, but we take 3 months to come up with a price, is that reasonable for today?
Well, so here's the issue, Herb, can we express it a little bit, can we move faster, because I don't want to invest a lot of engineering dollars into property that I can't acquire.
You wanted 2 months instead of 3 months.
I work on days and weeks, but what do you guys need?
Well,
What's
but
realistic?
we've been, well, talking about.
How about April first?
What?
How about April first?
Okay, April 1st.
To at least come up with a number.
Yeah.
See, I'm not sure you're gonna find another parcel that's gonna suit your needs in the amount of time. So that's why I don't wanna delay our process waiting for another parcel to come up.
There's
No,
there's
I
no
don't
other,
think that's what we got in mind.
there's no other parcel gonna come up, but Gina is quite aggressive in her field, and if we told her how necessary it was, and we have to, if they're in Aurelius, we have to look at them, because if we have a parcel that we talked about that was Jerry Crowley's, you wouldn't let us use that anyway, because you're gonna say that it's housing in front of it and we can't come out on the road. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into finding a parcel.
But I think we should separate the issues.
Right.
The two issues.
One shouldn't have one thing to do with the other.
We should keep pursuing property. And if anybody could give us some help, we'd appreciate that, but that's almost a separate issue. You know, I think we're really encouraged by what you guys are looking to do here. And so I think the only thing we need to come to terms is.
Well, it serves our mission by adding jobs.
Yeah, that's what we're all about, and I don't think we're gonna get an opportunity in the foreseeable future to add this many jobs.
Forget about us buying property, give us to April 1st to negotiate a price.
I'm good with that.
Who are
And then
we gonna have
who do I
to
negotiate
negotiate the price? It can't be the whole
Who's in
bunch
charge
of us,
of
right?
negotiating the property?
Should we just leave it up to Ray?
Pardon me.
Right.
We're the-
I was just asking who to negotiate with.
Well, that's what I was just saying too, like, you don't wanna negotiate with the whole group. I wonder, Ray, if you would take that on?
It'd be the chairman and with Justin Miller and
Right.
myself.
Yeah. You still got
Okay.
Justin? Okay.
Okay,
And if you guys can come to some conclusion by the end of the week, that's great, or if you. It doesn't matter to
but
us.
we
Sure.
give them to April, he's satisfied with April 1st, and
Came up with whether he's out of the group or not.
then I would move that we agree to sell them that property. And we'll agree on the price by April 1st.
Yeah, we'll let Ray lead the
It's
negotiation.
only a month.
Your motion was different, Herb, I think, now you're changing it a little bit.
Your additional
I'm
motion was
trying
to
to-
not accept offers on the property minus lot 11, as long as you can come to an agreeable amount between the board and OCMI
By April first.
by
Is
April
that
1st.
Yes, that's okay.
It's only a month, basically.
That,
You got
but
anybody knocking down the doors?
that was his date.
And you're gonna be on vacation. Well, for 2 weeks in March, yeah.
Sorry, I'm taking a vacation. We can figure it out right now.
Yeah,
Can we fly us down to his dad's place and we can hammer it out?
He's going down tomorrow.
Are you going to, just for you? Okay, Bob's got a question.
I just want a definitive answer on the parcels that we're looking at. You mentioned 1, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Is 4 included in that, or?
Well, so now what I'd like is all of them except 11. I need 11 now.
Okay.
And I'm glad the county's here because I think the county owns the road that goes around that half loop.
Yeah.
I think the county owns that.
Yeah.
So if you look at the plan builds over the county road. So we have a little bit of an
just
issue.
leave a garage door.
Did we deed that road to the county?
So we just need to abandon a section of the county
Who
road.
plows it?
Rick, did we deed that road to the county?
I think we did.
Right. Yeah. You know,
Eagle Drive is ours, I know that,
yeah, I know that.
right, but I think once it gets up.
I think once it gets there, move, I think the county.
County road. Because it's supposed to circle it and tie back.
Yeah, you just want
The only part that is Aurelius is just what you call Eagle Drive,
Drive,
the
yeah.
entrance into the property
Yes.
from the other road.
That is ours.
I'd like to second the motion.
Your trucks plow it all the way around though.
Right, it's on an agreement.
It's an agreement with the county.
Once we go up in there to do Eagle Drive, it just makes sense to keep our going
It's
around.
like the county plows my road, but it's a state road.
Right.
And then there's little agreements. Okay, Taylor, read us back the resolution so we all know what we're doing.
The motion on the table is to not accept the offers on any of the property minus lot 11, as long as the IDA comes to an agreement on a price between the board and CMI by April 1st.
It's been a motion and seconded. Let's have a roll call vote.
Mr. Lockwood,
Yes.
Mr. Marshall,
Yes.
Mr. Vitale,
Denny's still on?
He's going.
he's still there.
You might have to unmute.
You might be on mute.
Yeah, I muted him.
It happens to them all the time.
Yeah, I can't unmute him.
The emoji thumbs up.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
we can.
So I think the time frame is too short, but I said yes.
Okay. Mr. Reinfeldt,
Yes.
Ms. Spino, she's absent. Mr. Lattimore
Yes.
and Mr. Latinishton is also absent.
Okay, all voting present and voted aye. So in favor.
Okay, and then, so my request down below, I don't know who to work. Should I work with Danielle now on like a sales tax exemption still, or pilot agreement for the new facility and all that?
All IDA application stuff is okay.
Yeah.
They just pull it off the website.
I can email you everything, the updated stuff. I'll get you the updated version.
Okay. How do we handle the roads? County road?
Do you want the road?
Yeah.
We're gonna build over it, so.
Well, if it was a town road, we'd have to deal with them. If it's a county road, if you own all the property, I don't see any reason in the world why the county wouldn't just deed the road over to
But they have to
you.
start with the Public Works Committee.
Yes.
But Bob can lead that for you.
Okay. I'm just pretty
Who's
sure I
that?
can't
Are you on Public
bulldoze a
Works?
county road and get away with it.
Are you on Public Works?
No,
I don't know who's on anything.
We can
Figure
start
that
that
out.
process, but I can't imagine that the county would want to just keep the road.
No.
I don't see how that could possibly be a problem.
Is it just a road or sewer and water and everything else? in the
There's
road?
no sewer or water on that side of the property.
There's,
It kind of terminates on the backside. If you look at where those circles are up there.
Yep.
That's where the water sewer terminates there. It runs that side of Eagle Drive. I think what side it's on. I think it's on Grover's side. Sewer's on Grover's side. And I think water is too. None of the utilities were run to the east or the west side of the property. Just the electric. The electric terminates.
Yeah, you'd also want to confirm with the town of Aurelius, because a lot of times a town would have, on their town code, would have spec requirements regarding how long, because now you're creating basically a public dead-ended street. Does it have to be technically a hammerhead at the end or some type of mini cul-de-sac? I don't know the answer to that, but you probably have to check with the town as well to make sure what you're proposing to the county is consistent with the town, and if any more town approvals are needed. Maybe,
Well,
you know.
To that, and technically it would, if the Eagle Drive could just tie to that dirt road, if,
Yeah,
you know,
I would think so.
yeah, that'd be the way to do
you
it.
know, if we could get permission to cross it.
There's a negotiation tactic.
We're probably gonna have to have a special meeting.
Yes. But,
And last time I ran into Mike Day, he was saying that.
Yeah.
The two of you might be building the car wash or the truck. wash.
We have actually talked about it.
But now Mike sold out, so I don't know.
We did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Or there
That's
are
news
new
to
cars
me.
that-
I was gonna ask you if you talked to people about your truck wash to share it.
No, I didn't know Mike sold out.
Yeah, I had a drink with him at Skinny House Country Club last summer, and he asked me about it. He said you and he were talking about,
Yeah, I mean, we always talked about it, and that was part of the plan,
yeah,
was when we actually acquired that and got serious about it, we were gonna go talk to Mike.
yeah,
Well, who bought them?
some huge company. Danielle, do you know who bought Johnson Paper?
Johnson Paper, do you know about it?
I would have to check. I think it was a company out of North or South Carolina.
Yeah, yeah. That was what, 3, 4, about the same time D and W diesel.
I think I'm working too much. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Okay, anything else?
No?
I,
Well, there's also questions.
I have a really dumb thing. A guy called me today and read the minutes of our meeting last month where you said that your partner had pulled out of being with you in this thing. And he says, does that mean that they make money? And I says, that's not my business. He says, well, if he's gonna be at the meeting today, ask him if he wants me to call him to see if he needs money. You want to talk to anybody that has money?
Right, so.
I don't want to waste your, and it's
So-
nothing to me.
So right now, we want to keep this a farmer-led
Okay.
endeavor. So
Okay. So
I
that's-
appreciate the people are offering. I got one on the website too. It's kind of fascinating because he saw us on CBS. We did that CBS
I don't,
special.
but he just called me today. I don't know why but I'll tell him it's gonna be farmer owned at the present time. That's simple.
So until the farmers want to change that, that's
Okay.
I don't see that happening.
changes happen.
Yeah.
I've learned to never say never.
And all we do.
Never use absolutes.
Yeah, me too. Anything else for these people? Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you for the support. We appreciate the support.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, it's a great project.
We're trying really hard. So. Yeah, it's I remember when we were starting out, I was talking to somebody the other day, Mueller out in Batavia was starting up, they had a yogurt plant that started up, there's a few other things that started up, and we're the last remaining survivors of all those startups. It's a resolve, these guys keep me in line.
Yogurt kind of fizzled out now, isn't it? It's not growing.
We have all the confidence in these guys.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, but that full build out, I think that might have been, I don't know if that was version 46, but it takes into account the unique features of the bedrock on that site and
Yeah.
so many challenges that,
Yeah, what you guys don't know is I had Ben Vitale, because I wanted to go, I told KB, I wanted to go north-south with this expansion.
Yeah.
So I want to orient it this way. So Ben calls me up and says, hey, he goes, I just want you to know, it's gonna be like $2.5 million because we're gonna have to blast out all the bedrock to do it the way you want to do it. I was like, we'll go different elevations. So that actually goes up as it goes south.
I used to knife all the corn over there. Whoa.
well, there's almost 15 feet of elevation difference between Boch's and our CMI floor right now, so you wouldn't think it, but
Yeah.
if you stop and look at it.
I would have thought it was very close to level.
Actually, there's every different kind of soil there.
Yeah.
You go from bedrock and then you go right over it. And it's, anyway, thank you.
When they built Finger Lakes Cross and all of that parking lot, they broke up all the bedrocks and then spread it back in. Just called it for color. Right, and there was enough to do that, and it's still all tonic. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
You gonna take that map, Kevin?
Let's get on it. We have more.
You keep it.
Don't sell it.
Driving or flying.
We'll keep
Have a good
it.
night.
Kevin, we'll keep it.
We'll keep it.
Thanks,
All right.
Mike.
Just, yeah, it's not final by any means.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Good night.
Bye. CCIDA update.
I'll make this very brief. everyone who's met Julie so far, or Julia, sorry, our new small business development specialist. Ray, I'll let you give up the update for the CEO search. At the end of this month, Julia and I will be attending the New York State EDC Economic Development Conference in Albany. Sessions are going to include economic trends, state budget, workforce development, site selection trends, economic gardening, and IDA operations. Devin released the CCIDA annual report, which board members received a hard copy. Ben, I'll send you an electronic version. This is kind of just an overview of all the interactions that CCIDA had in 2021. That's all I have.
Okay. We've received applications. We received 7. We eliminated 3 right off the bat. I just came, well, with a Zoom meeting with the search committee. We're compiling the list of questions. We're going to interview next Tuesday, Wednesday on the candidates by Zoom. We have a person doing phone interviews, getting some brief background from the applicants, and we will still receive applicants up to the first of the month. So hopefully by next Thursday or late Wednesday afternoon, I'll know exactly a little bit more about what we got. But we do have 4 candidates right now that I think are pretty decent.
Who's the committee?
There's kind of a, yeah, there's 2 from, 1 from the city, Jeff Dyer, and then there's Elaine Coleman. And it was supposed to be the chair, but she was the chair at the time, and I guess she talked with Dave, and Dave said he was okay with her moving forward, which I was glad because she'd already been our predecessor. And then there's myself, Jim Dacey, what is it? 2 from CCIDA and 2 from the chamber, I think.
From the boards, the CCIDA and chamber boards.
Yeah.
It would be Kevin Miles, Ryan Pine
Fine,
from CCIDA, and then chamber is Mitch
Mitch,
and
Melanie
Johnson.
She's very knowledgeable. I've been really impressed. I guess she runs an HR firm or something. I'm quite impressed with her knowledge.
She has over 20 years of HR
Yeah.
experience.
So actually, I've been kind of glad that she's been there because before we step in any real line, she's been over to round up. That's where we are with it. So hopefully we'll move it along quicker. Danielle's getting a little anxious about her catering business.
It's hard to replace people now.
Oh, boy. Wow. Wow. Any other questions on that? Hey, I have some concern about, and the city of Auburn passed it, this, why they wanted to make a Wasco Lake a wooded lake or something. Now, we're in the IDA business of attracting companies. When you attract companies, you attract people. And I'm telling you, I don't know how we can attract businesses when we're going to tell them that we have a polluted water supply. And any meeting I've been at, nobody's assured me that that lake is so polluted that it can't be used. That's all I got to say. I'm totally frustrated with that resolution. It makes no sense to me. I'm bringing it up because we're the IDA, we're supposed to be out looking for businesses and people.
I don't know as it goes, but I got into a little bit of a thing which I called you about. I tried to find out shortly after the last meeting how much the county put in, and I called Lynn Marinelli up, and she told me exactly what the county put in for, I think, the last 4 years. I believe this year it was 325,000.
375.
375. I didn't write anything
okay.
down there. The county puts in 375, so I try to find out what the city puts in and what Ada puts in and what we put in. And I asked her, and she said she didn't know, that she never got any information from CCIDA at all about where any of their monies come from, only what the county gave them. So I called her up to ask her, and I got a little mad at what she told me, but maybe I didn't understand what she told me. I thought she told me that she knew what the city and what Ada put in, but I could not have that information. And if that's the case, I'm extremely upset about that. Maybe that,
Public,
what?
it should be public.
It is public, it's foilable. All I gotta do is call up a lawyer and he will foil it, and within so many days,
Technically, CCIDA is a private 501c3. You
So you-
can foil Ada and you can foil the city of Auburn. But as a private 501c3, we don't technically have to disclose the funding. However, there's no issue.
The city
Why
has to
put
say
you
what-
through all the motions of foiling the city of Auburn
Yeah.
or Ada?
well, I called the city of Auburn and they were very, very agreeable. They said, we'll give you whatever information you want, but they didn't have it. So to end up with, Danelle called me and told me what it was, but the county puts in 375 and the city about 5,000.
So there's a different agreement where we are contracted annually for the county, where the city, we bill an hourly rate for the agreements that we have in place to administer their local loan program.
Which is correct, but I tried to find out last year what the county put in and what the city put in approximately $5,000 last year. And the county's was 325 last year.
375.
No, they were 375 for
It
this
was
year.
300.
Yeah,
the year
last
before.
year was.
Yeah,
300.
but
It was
it
250 before that.
that's where I probably got. But anyway, to go back to your concern about the city calling a WASP, there's not the right amount of cooperation between everything here and everybody looking towards everybody's interest. I don't know why there would be and if there is, then I need to deal with that, why there would be a problem with me knowing what the city puts in and what Ada puts in. And if there is a problem, then I'm gonna have a problem. But I know, so I currently.
Cities, Ada's the same agreement we have.
Yeah, and when I called her, I shared how everything was broken down with the dollar amount.
Yes.
The IDAs have the same structure agreement.
Yeah.
It
would depend on their projects that they.
So they both
what they
have a
contribute.
20% share fee, but once again, it's just dependent on what that dollar amount is at the end of the year.
Right,
And then it's the same $5,000 per quarter agreement.
The two IDAs.
the two,
have
remember, because we wouldn't sign ours until the city
have the same
agreement.
basic agreement. They pay different years depending on what the specific circumstances.
But we have no agreement, CCIDA has no agreement with the city. But we have a contract, CCIDA has a contract with the county,
Yes.
and that it's every how many years?
Every 3 years, the
Right.
contract gets negotiated, but how the budget works for the county,
Is per
they
year.
cannot do a multiple year budget. They
Yeah.
have to vote on it annually.
Annually.
Also, the city budget, which I tried to explain to her, runs from June of 1 year to the following year of July. So it's not a calendar year as
But
for
they
the
don't
county.
contribute a budgeted amount.
No, they don't. They contribute a contract where we bill hourly rates because of the programs that we're administering.
Why is the city pushing to make the Wasco polluted lake? What's,
Money,
They think they could get money for cleaning it. I won't, that's what I presume. If we're through with that, I have one other thing to bring up. I was contacted just a few days ago. Dumont needs water awful bad. that they had 2 fires in their soybean roasting thing. Plus, their well went bad and they're trucking in all the water that they use completely.
So it's Bruce Haven.
Yes, and both of them have gone together and want water, and they wanted me to bring it up here to see if there's anything, any project or anything we had that could help them. But they have hired an engineer and they have gotten permission from, there's a Springport, you know, more than Springport Fleming Water District, and they've got permission from that water district to hook on and run water cross lots from there to both places.
However, my niece's husband is the fire chief up there. Are we in executive session?
No,
We're not.
Can we have a motion to go?
I
into
do.
executive?
Second.
for the,
Huh?
for the purpose of purchase or sale of real property.
Yeah.
Yes.
Negotiations.
On favor? Opposed?
Hold on.
My niece's
Hold
husband.
on,
is the fire
hold
chief.
on.
Hold on, we gotta
Oh.
stop recording.
I keep forgetting that.
And Janine
You're
has
too
to leave.
fast for
Bye,
us,
Janine.
Hi, Janine.
Aye.
Ben's still on?